Oh, that's hot. Oh, that's very, very hot.
So we've gotten an official look at pretty much the big releases coming this holiday season, and they look rather familiar. We've got another new Assassin's Creed, another Call of Duty, and another new Need for Speed. This is something that's kind of troubled me for a while. It's kind of the oversaturation of series. The developers notice that the series makes a lot of money, and so it becomes a yearly series. I understand they used to do something like that, back in the earlier generations of games. We'd get a new Prince of Persia every single year until the trilogy ended. But nowadays, it feels more like they're rushing it out simply to make a profit and only throwing in small upgrades. It's becoming like the yearly sports franchises, and this is something that I'm not really comfortable with. I mean, the new Call of Duties, yes, they're made by different studios each year, so it's technically an alternating series, depending on which publisher you want to go with more. But it's basically the same game every single year. The one that particularly distresses me is the Assassin's Creed games. Assassin's Creed was one of my favorite series when it first came out. The Assassin's Creed 1 game was just so unbelievable. It just blew me away with all the different features, and it felt like that true next-gen title. Then Assassin's Creed 2 took about 2 years to come out, and that one completely redefined the Assassin's Creed series. And I think that was actually one of the pinnacles of the series. And then they come out with Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and then Assassin's Creed Revelations. And both of those just felt more like a retread of the exact same experience instead of actually improving on the game. When Assassin's Creed 3 came out, that was big news because they spent so much time working on it. They were going in an entirely different direction. But when I finally got to play it, all that excitement was just gone. It felt more like a chore trying to get through it. And now they have the new Assassin's Creed 4, which is mostly based around what essentially equates to a mini game in Assassin's Creed 3, the ship combat, which to me felt very, very tedious and took way longer to actually take down an enemy ship than it should have. The thing is, as long as these franchises keep making money, because video games are still a business, we are still going to get new games of the same franchises every single year. I'm not saying we should boycott these until they start, putting more space in between the next games. I'm not really sure even some of you could even do that if you tried. But what I'm saying is, until something bigger and better comes along, we're going to keep getting these same games every single year because they keep making money. Black Ops 2 was one of the biggest entertainment sales records of all time. And there's a reason for that. Because it is so popular and because it makes money. Not simply because it innovates or tries to change anything. I remember a time when we used to wait every single year passing by in agony, waiting for the new Need for Speed, waiting for the new Mario, waiting for the new Zelda. I guess in a way, we're always waiting for the new Zelda. The thing is, I don't think this is a trend that's really going to go anywhere because they do make so much money. But it is something where I wonder how much longer it's going to be before people start getting tired of playing the same game every single year. Even the sports games. Madden used to be a game where people would take the day off just to play it. You don't get that nowadays. The sports franchises have actually dropped in sales compared to the shooters and the action games and these yearly franchises. I mean, I'm surprised that Need for Speed honestly gets a new game every year because it's an alternating thing. Every other year, the next game sells really well, then the next one doesn't. Sells really well, but with Assassin's Creed, each new game still sells an absorbent amount of copies, even despite the $60 price tag of each game, which essentially starts to feel more like an expansion than an actual brand new experience. I don't know how this is going to turn in whenever Assassin's Creed 4 comes out and how it's actually going to feel, but right now what I'm saying is I don't think I'll be the one playing it.
I got some brownies over here for you.
So you guys finally saw my Last of Us review. You saw the accolades that I laid on this. This is literally one of the best games I can remember playing since BioShock Infinite, and really there isn't a big game before that. So those two games are some of the biggest games of the year. But I did actually have someone ask me why I use a 10 scale for movies and a 5 scale for video games. The reason is movies, you get that confined 2-hour experience, and so it's really not fair to put it in a 1 to 5 scale, because even a bad movie can still have some good parts to it. So that's where you get like the 5 to 7 kind of range, and then the really good ones like 8 to 10, that kind of a thing, and then the ones you should completely avoid a lot lower than that. But with video games, it's more about the actual experience itself. And so the way that I look at it is games like 2 and below, you could probably avoid them unless you're just, die hard looking for that franchise kind of a thing. But a 3 could be just an average game to some people and still be a really great experience to other people. Whereas 4 and 5 is kind of a game that everyone should play. I just think there's a more broad scope in terms of how movies should be rated versus how video games should be rated. So I go with a smaller scale as far as video games, because it is more expensive to actually take part in that hobby or in that pastime than it is to go spend like $10 to go see a movie for a couple hours and just escape reality. So once again, leave any questions, comments, anything like that you want me to answer. I'll be sure to get back to you. You may even see one of your questions on one of the upcoming episodes. And as always, click that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.